Mauricio, what's up? Hans Landa, I know you think I'm stupid, but, you know.
To enjoy the moments that matter, take a step in the right direction today with Move Free Ultra. When time to celebrate,
Sofa King.
and support. Don't totally. Move Free. Your health starts today.
Anytime's the perfect time for us.
Wesley, what's up? Mauricio, what makes you say that? Do you recognize the pose? Where do you recognize the pose from? Because, one, I'm not trying to hide it. It's supposed to be an intentional homage to that particular image. Pretty impressed that you actually recognize it right off the bat from just such a basic, figure sketch. Good eye. Yeah, I don't know why, Jaro. I've just been really digging this Predator soundtrack. This is one of those movies that was like so like influential to my childhood. It's like all the sounds of it just conjure up specific memories, not just of the movie, but kind of like just me as a kid. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but the sounds of this thing just are so great. Yeah, I've heard that kind of said before. Um, yeah, those sounds just take you back. And you know, it's music for sure, but I think in a way you could just also say sounds. Is that kind of applicable? Certain sounds can take you right back. I guess anything could kind of do that. Sounds, scents. But yeah. The gorillas skinned them? Why would they skin them? But I'm doing this one because my brother, he's putting together his newest comic, and he asked me. He's actually doing something that I kind of want to do the same thing on. He's taken some of his old original characters that he created as a kid, and revamping them to make them not so silly, and putting them in his new comic. And he sent me a pinup of all these redesigned characters, and he said that I should do a pinup of them for his next book. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. Then I got to thinking, and I always kind of wanted to try and do like a homage to the basic poses in this specific Silvestri drawing. So now's the time. What's up, Sean? How's it going? Alright, I think this pencil, his life has come to an end. I can't even sharpen it to a point anymore to bother using the lead holder or the pencil holder extender. So, it's time to retire this guy. His tour of duty is over. I'm going to put him in a grave with the rest of his brothers. Yeah, put that little, right? See, that's what I'm saying. He gave all he could. I burned through them so quickly, though. Good thing I bought like 4 boxes of them with 12 pencils each. Because now, we've got a new soldier. Put him down, Sarge. We salute you. These blue pencils are Prismacolor Kohl Erase. It's an erasable pencil, colored pencil, just a soft blue lead. It's one of my favorite things to use. For the kind of initial sketch stage. I use just these generic pencils I find at the art store. There's not, oh, there's a brand. It says Kimberly. It's just the brand that they have there that I pick up. And I use a 6H. I'm a weird guy. I like the hard leads. I hate soft, smudgy leads. And for some reason, I like these 6H. And some people think I'm crazy for using such a hard lead. But it doesn't feel like a crazy, rigid, rock-hard lead. I know, right? See? But it doesn't feel like a super hard lead. I've used some hard leads before that felt like you're drawing with a rock. But for some reason, these ones just work for me. Panda, what's up? I'm actually doing, I was just saying that my younger brother, he's finishing up the next issue of his own comic. And he's digging out some of his old character designs that were silly because we were all, you know, when we're all kids and we make these ridiculous character designs. But he's kind of redesigning and repurposing them to use them in his current book. And he asked me, he says, hey, you should do a pinup of these characters for me. I was like, all right. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just the sketch stages of this idea. That's still funny, Sean. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't like the smudgy leads to ink over. And I know some people have said, and I get it, like the hard leads, you end up like gouging the paper and putting little, you know, gouges in it. But I learned to have a soft hand with it. That's never a problem with me. See, Mauricio? I'm crazy for, yeah, I know, I do agree, but for some reason I've just kind of gotten used to it and it just works. Yeah, if you use a heavy hand like you do. HM, it's, I believe his next book is Bliss. His Blood Moon thing is done for now, but both characters in both the Bliss comic and the Blood Moon book, he's going to use. Like, I'll show you. This is the pinup he did of his characters. And these are all characters that he made when he was like a 12-year-old kid. And he actually repurposed, like, this girl over here, she's like a big, strong character. She used to be a guy in his original version. And so did this girl here. And he's like, I had a team of like 6 dudes. So he switched them over to be girls just for a little bit of variety. But this is the pinup of his characters. He redesigned them. They got like a dragon symbol logo and shit. So, and I remember these characters when we were kids. He'd talk about them, and we had them in our own kind of chintzy bullshit comics. And so he's like, I'm going to just reuse them. I'm going to redesign them and put them in the book. I'm like, that's awesome. I kind of want to do the same thing with my own characters. So it's kind of a fun little thing to get to fart around with. Panda, you're the only one of your artist friends who's never broken a micron nib? You're talking about the pens? Like microns? I've never snapped a nib off one of these things. I didn't even know that was such a thing. I guess it makes sense if you like jam it in there intentionally, but I've never done that. That's kind of interesting to hear. Jaro, you love the idea of bringing back childhood characters. Like, I've got a couple of my own, and they're just the original characters that I made as a kid were bad because there was no character behind them. They were just like Wolverine and Punisher ripoffs. And I had no character or motivations or anything beyond like cliche nonsense. So I've never bothered to try and reutilize them because I have nothing to say about them. That being said, those old character designs that I've done still are like precious to me. So what I'm going to do first off in my silly fan comic that I'm making, I'm going to put together some fake ads. I want it to feel like an old school image comic book where there's the story, but littered throughout is the next series coming from that studio. It's like if it's a Youngblood book, there's an ad for Brigade and Bloodpool and whatever, or Wildstorm or whatever. So I'm just going to create some fake ads. Some of them are just going to be intentionally stupid, like my book, but some of them are going to just be some of my old characters just redesigned and put together, like Coming Soon, Tiger and White Shadow and Warclaw, which were the name of my 3 main superhero characters, and just do a new pinup of them and just put them in there as like fake ads in the book. And my brother's going to put some of his characters in it as a pinup as well, just to show them, just because. I mean, why not? Yeah, so I had this idea that I kind of created back in the day just to give you some of my silliness as a kid. I think that there's sort of a vague nugget of an interesting idea, but it's already been done so much better by so many other movies and TV shows and comics. It's not worth digging into. But I had these 2 characters, and I was going to when I was working with my brother to involve one of his characters to be part of it, like this guy in the background with the black outfit and the big bird wings, the big metal wings. So we created 3 characters, and 2 of them were mine. There was Warclaw, there was Warbird, this guy, and then there was Warchild. And they were all cybernetic enhancements, like government cybernetic enhancements. The character of Warclaw, he had a human brain and a human body like a torso, but they replaced his arms and his legs with cybernetic components. That was Warclaw. Warbird, they replaced his spine with cybernetic components. And War Child, they did enhancements on his brain to make him hyper intelligent. And so they were just this trio. And the War Child guy, of course, is the one who goes insane because he had brain modifications and just really simplistic stuff like, oh, it's cybernetic arms, cybernetic spine, cybernetic brain. But there's not really anything there that I have anything to say about, so I just left them there. Sean, that's awesome. You like to recall characters you came up with as a kid and imagine them being killed off brutally by characters I developed as an adult. That's actually brilliant. You're like, you know what? I'm going to give them some finality. They're just gone. Just the shit ones, right? I mean, my original characters, I created a guy, his name was Tiger. It's spelled with a Y. He was basically the physical embodiment of Punisher, but with long hair because long hair was cool, and he had Wolverine's claws, and that was it. And he was awesome, and he carried like a samurai sword with him as well. There was just nothing there. But to a kid, when you're 13 years old and you're reading X-Men and Punisher and all this shit, you just start creating these designs, and you're like, this is awesome. This is my character. And when it lives in your head, it feels like there's all this infinite possibility until you're forced to sit down and actually explain what the character's motivations are, and you don't have it. But, so yeah, there's nothing there that's interesting, but the character is precious to me, just because it's a link to my childhood. Tiger Claws, what's up? I'm trying to remember the names of these characters my brother come up with here. HM is a kid. You only created monsters. Every time you write fantasy, you try to use one of those creations. That'd be fun. Even if it doesn't resemble exactly the original version, you know what it is. some reason, a lot of them have duck features. You were afraid of ducks back then? Panda, when you were a kid, your anthropomorphic animal type characters were on point, but my human characters were dog crap. Yeah, I never created anything as a kid that was remotely really interesting, but what kids usually do when you're just that young.
Smith Pharmacy or pharmacists are pharmacy experts. Don't know what you need or if you're covered? We can...
I was talking about it earlier. My brother, that's how we got talking about um, using old characters. My brother's doing, interjecting his own characters, and he asked me to do a pinup of these characters. So then I got this idea to rip off this Silvestri old wizard cover layout. Which, honestly, the only thing I'm really ripping off in terms of actual Silvestri style is this big hot girl right up front. The rest of these are like not in the same poses. They're in the same positioning. It's like using his kind of composition, but I'm not trying to like steal his line work, except for, the hot girl pose. If you're gonna steal from the best, I guess, right? Yeah, Silvestri is God, so it's fine. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The shot that I'm kind of ripping off here is this wizard cover. So, like, these guys in the bottom corner here are the poses I'm drawing here. And it's not the same poses. Like, they're sort of in the same position, kind of, but I'm not going much more than that. And there's no big, giant, strong guy, so I'm going to draw the guy with big bird wings in the background there. And I'm doing a double page spread, which I haven't done in forever and ever, so we'll see how it goes. This guy carries a big shield. God, I gotta remember the names of these characters that my brother created. I had to ask him to remind me. So this guy's Strider. This guy's Infrared. The girl is Jammer. This guy is Fast Tracks. This is Infrared, Strider, Fast Tracks, Jammer. There's another girl called Fuse, and then the character in the background with the wings is Warbird. Fuck, is this not playing? What the fuck is going on? Yes, Jesus Christ. Oh, he gave his character a man bun. Gay.
Right here in America. And now you lower MSRP on a best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder.
Get 0% APR for 15 months on Pathfinder.
One of these people uses the new
Fuck off with the commercial. Oh, I sort of know about them. Didn't they do aren't they putting together a new like a tribute book to those characters, the Elementals, that Michael Fitzroy, I can't remember if I got his name right. You know what I'm talking about? Man Buns, you know that guy's the douche of the team. So yeah, that Michael Fitzroy fella, he asked me a little while ago. He sent me a copy of their last book, the big comics, whatever. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of these things. He sent me a copy of that, and I did a review on it. And he asked me if I wanted to do a pinup of those characters, and I kind of wanted to, but at the time I was just buried underneath needing to get my own shit done, and so I couldn't commit to it. But I'd never really heard of the characters. Yeah, Michael Fitzgerald, yeah, that's the fella. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to hit him up and like, hey, I guess I got the time. I don't know if I do have the time, but if I am going to carve it out, I'm doing it for my brother. Yeah, you can send me anything you want. Do you just want me to just check it out? Because I'd like to see it for sure.
CeraVe Sheer Tint Sunscreen is now in 3 flexible shades for a healthy glow. Developed with dermatologists to blend skincare with sun care. 100% mineral layering with hyaluronic acid.
She'd.
Right into the fresher's face, RC Lily has you covered with incredible Memorial Day savings. Bestseller unusual real-time packaging from furniture and storage.
What's on the docket for tomorrow? Tomorrow, Wesley, you can send it to me directly if you want. I don't mind. Tomorrow is the Wolverine Origin 6-issue series, which I hate. I do not like that comic at all. Where they start the destruction of Wolverine's origin, and then after that is Fighting American, Mr. Liefeld, the first 2 issues of the Fighting American. Then Friday is an indie book. Yeah, Deathmate Black. That was fun. Like I said, I've already kind of done it once before, but it's just, let's just look at it again. And that was the regular series. There was a 2-issue series. Where did I put it? I must have sat them somewhere. Son of a bitch. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there was a story that Platt and Liefeld both drew. It's just Captain America Volume 2. He's such a petty little bitch. And then there's a second issue. And there's some really cool Stephen Platt stuff in these. And then Ed McGuinness did a series afterwards, which I think I have. I don't have any of the Kaboom issues. I don't know how I didn't end up collecting them. Yeah, Fighting America is after Heroes Reborn because he got shit canned. He says he quit on his own, but he got shit canned. I don't think Chuck Dixon had anything to do with Fighting American. Yeah, Fighting American was all like Liefeld and Jeff Loeb and I've never heard that about Chuck Dixon being the original writer. I'm not saying you're wrong. I never heard that. Um, to my knowledge, it was always Jeff Loeb, but I I 100% maybe just missed that part of it. That sounds completely plausible. I'm sure Dixon would be like, dude, come on, what the fuck? And Loeb's like, whatever, Mr. Liefeld, you're the star of the show. You make us a bunch of money. Let's go.
¿Sabes qué son los puntos? No tengo que esperar. Puedo directo a los platos.
Opioid addiction can be a struggle. Supplicate with counseling is for those with moderate to severe opioid addiction.
Let Liefeld paint over the Sistine Chapel, put pouches and gritted teeth on everybody. How could it not be anything except extreme and awesome? You know, Wesley, I hate awesome Wildstorm characters in the DC universe. I don't. It's just not the same. They're just. I don't want to see the engineer or the Midnighter or whatever standing next to Superman and Batman, because like Apollo and Midnighter were just like alternate versions of Superman and Batman anyway, and it's just. I've never liked any Wildstorm character as soon as they were part of the DC universe. I'm like, nope, don't give a shit. Done reading them. I don't want to see Grifter standing next to Wonder Woman. It's just. What's up, Montoya?
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you, right here in America. And now we've lowered MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder.
For 60 months on Pathfinder.
Yeah, but it could be violent and entertaining, true. But if they screw it up, the problem is then the characters are broken and no one will like them, and then it just makes an even bigger gap in time before they ever actually get the characters right. It's kind of like how Marvel keeps fucking up the movie versions of the Fantastic Four. Oh, let's have Roger Corman do it to retain the rights. Oh, let's have a bland, run-of-the-mill, early 2000s version, and then let's do that god-awful Josh Trank version. I don't think this new one's going to be any better. It's just eventually the characters become broken and no one wants to play with them anymore. Yeah, Batman Deadpool. I saw that Capullo posted that he gets to draw, I assume, the Marvel version. There's going to be like a Marvel version and a DC version. And Liefeld's over on his page just yapping about how he's excited for the royalties he'll get from that book. He's such a petulant little bitch. I haven't been particularly had a problem with the way any of the versions of the characters looked in the modern movies. I mean, they're all kind of fine. Um, and I like the '60s era vibe that they're doing. That's cool. Just I don't know if Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards. In fact, I know he's not. But maybe he'll blow me away with his performance and make me believe it. Then they got the actress they got playing Sue Storm. She seems fine. I have no idea who she is, but she's in her like late 30s. It's like if she's going to play this character for long, she's going to be an old woman by movie 3. It's like Sue Storm can, be a young woman. Someone saying, what is up? Anyone who's new here and wants to join the Discord, my boy, someone saying, threw it up right there. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of the Pedro thing. Like I haven't actually seen him in too much, but he's fine. It's just, why is he suddenly the new, like, he has to be everyone and everything. Yeah, Krasinski for the part, like they did in that very middle of the road Doctor Strange movie. I thought it was interesting that they, everyone was fan casting him for it, and he kind of got on board and agreed to come and do that one little role. I honestly thought it was a surefire thing, like, okay, they've cast him as the character. Awesome. And no, they did not. It was just kind of I'll just do this one off. And that sucks. Pascal is the Hollywood ass kisser. Kinda. But, he can act. I don't have a problem with any of that. It's just, he does not look like or carry the gravitas of Reed Richards. So it's like, why are we here? I mean, it is widely accepted that Reed Richards is the smartest Marvel character, right? I mean, Tony Stark and guys like that can give him a run for his money in different ways, but in the end, Reed Richards is just miles above anybody else, right? I mean, this is the truth, right? No, it's Ironheart now. You're right. I forget the guy playing Galactus. Isn't he that one dude who was like the father in that movie Witch with that really deep, kind of scary as hell voice? I don't know much about the guy except that he had a hell of a presence in that movie, if I'm remembering correctly. And I guess that voice, you could say that works really well for Galactus if they pull it off right. They better not fuck up Galactus. I mean, they will. They could fuck up everything, but Anything's better than a giant cloud at this point. That is 100% fact right there. I don't know. Was he in Game of Thrones? I only watched season 1, and I did not think it was that fucking exciting. I do not get the appeal. So I surrendered immediately. I'm like, I'm done. I gave it a full season. Don't give a shit. I don't know. Everyone says, no, you got to give it time. There's amazing shit coming. I'm sure. Right up until the end. I know. I get it. But I'm like, I don't fucking care anymore. Some guys keep trying to get me to watch Stranger Things. I'll watch Stranger Things first before I watch Game of Thrones. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's like 100% into drawing hot girls. I'm a dude. I like women. I don't mind nudity. I don't mind sexuality. I'm 100% fine with it. But even I was like, can we get fucking past this sex shit and move on to parts of the story that I care about? I just was not having it with that show, with the Game of Thrones. So I made the right choice bailing on Game of Thrones. I understand there was like some amazing shit going on, but especially knowing that it's so widely regarded to have such a god awful ending, I just all right, well then I don't fucking care. I'm done. No. Mauricio, Discord's just a place to go. It's just a place to post. You just talk back and forth. It's kind of private, where it's just people who specifically come there that I allow. And people there are just sharing art and creativity. You don't even have to be creative you don't have to be an artist or something like that. Anybody, if you just enjoy stuff and want to chit chat back and forth, there's some really good people over there. Jaro, you'd rather watch Renegade reruns. I think someone sane is trying to call me out. Which, if anybody has the right to do it, it would be him. Someone saying it's calling out the world. Oh, that's it. NR Ready's looking to get banned right now, saying Lord of the Rings was dragged out. That's it. We're fighting. We're not friends anymore. Just kidding. You know, for me, Lord of the Rings is, and only the original trilogy is like perfect trilogy, perfect movies. I can watch them anytime. You think I would, but like I said, I gave frickin' Game of Thrones a full season. I watched all of season one. And there was some interesting stuff, but it's just not enough to make me go, I can't wait to watch part two or three or four. Steven, you say the book version of the Balrog would have been so much better. I can't speak to that, but and maybe this is better for me if I haven't read the book, so I don't have an idea of what the Balrog should have looked like, but that was one of the most impressive monsters I've ever seen. The way he jumped up there, the flame effects, that deep roar, I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. But no, I've never read the book, so I don't know. The only other version of it I've seen is that, what is it, the Ralph Bakshi, is that correct? That old Lord of the Rings animated thing that was a little rough. Yeah, but was the movie version made of flesh? Wasn't he made of like elemental god fire things or something? I mean, I don't know, fucking. I just, again, I'd have to go back and look to see the skin texture, but to me, I always thought he was like a lava rock texture thing. But again, I didn't really care. I was like, this thing is just awesome. He didn't have wings in the book? That's interesting. Randy says he was kind of like a spirit in the movie too. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. He felt like I think I was kind of saying like an elemental god thing that almost defies common description. Again, haven't read the book, so can't make that comparison, but as a creature and the first time impression on me, I was like, holy shit, this is cool. I gotta go turn off my air conditioning again. It's getting a little cool in here. You guys have got me wanting to watch The Lord of the Rings, but I've kind of specifically avoided watching The Lord of the Rings again until I sit at least my oldest boy down and force him to give it a shot. I'm gonna have him like sit down and watch at least the first half of the first movie. I think he'll love it, but I'm not gonna commit him to watch all of them. But if you're not into the stories by the first half of the first movie, you're not gonna be. But I keep avoiding watching him because, like I said, I want to watch him with my son. I want to have that moment. And he'll ruin it if he doesn't love it, but I'll never tell him that. Oh, hell no. Ready? The only version that exists are the extended versions. I'll never watch the the theatrical releases again. It's all good to me. It's all good. So fun. Such good movies. I could see the creators of the movies having to like make some decisions. They're like, okay, we get what it's saying that it is, but maybe from like a narrative standpoint, they're like, we need some kind of giant otherworldly threat, and the way it's described is not super intimidating. Maybe that's part of what their logic was. But yeah, the theatrical experience of the Lord of the Rings movies was, I think, arguably the best movie-going experiences of my life. Um, Star Wars certainly has an appeal, but I was I was born the year the first one come out, and so those movies just always existed with me, and the new ones don't do shit. So Yeah, the Lord of the Rings is kind of like my movies, like the ones that kind of like a generational defining kind of movie series for me. I think other people maybe think of like Harry Potter films for them because it was such a cultural thing for a lot of people. Not for me.
Two, you check everything to keep your horse healthy enough and keep them protected all season long. Get fireflies and
Well, the originals are best by far. The prequels were terrible, but the sequels have actually made the prequels kind of look a little bit better. Yeah, the Ewok movies, those were some technically terrible shit, but I still loved them. I even tried to get my roommate to watch. I'm like, here, watch The Caravan of Courage. She's like, what the fuck is this? She's like, I like Ewoks, but good God. I'm like, but no, this is cute. Isn't Wicked adorable? Regular Earth horses. Are you talking about in the Ewok movie? I mean, yeah, it's got to have some kind of animals. They only had so much of a budget. Couldn't like they were going to make some animatronic bullshit for this low budget Ewok movie. But I kind of liked it. They had some pretty good special effects. That giant monster, the Gorak, I think it was called. That thing was kind of scary, and the effects of him being a giant were not bad. Egg test tube. This is a pinup for my brother's comic. These are all his old characters that he's redesigning and repurposing for his book, and he asked me to do a pinup for him. So it's a double page spread, which I haven't done really before. Ready? It's hard to say. It just depends. It depends on the drawing, the mood, the vibe, how well the shit's coming out of my pencil. There's no set, like, I only do it this way. I usually fail at approaching getting what I want it to look like. Like, I'm at this critical juncture in the drawing now where the initial rough sketches have enough of an idea that get me excited, but then as I try to refine it and make it look awesome, I tend to start losing some of the stuff that made it look interesting in the first place. And then so it's a struggle to retain that energy. Yeah, Warwick Davis needed some work. He was good. I think that movie Willow is legitimately entertaining, awesome show, and boy did they fuck up that Disney Plus TV series. It's one of the worst bits of TV I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe they went that bad. Yeah, Wesley, you're for sure. That kinetic energies. And it's just hard to hold on to sometimes. And try as I might, I know it instinctively going in. I'm like, all right, there's some energy to the rough pencil. Now you got to keep it somehow. Don't fuck it up. And then I usually fuck it up. It also doesn't help that this character I'm trying to draw here, the reference picture that my brother sent, has him basically his entire body concealed, so I can't make out his outfit. I have to hit him up and be like, yo. Disney making an Indiana Jones animated? I'll believe that when I see it. Done right, that could be amazing, but they kind of like fucked over the Indiana Jones property with two god awful movies. Steven, Disney needs to make an animated adventure of Luke Skywalker and his first apprentice. Wesley, is the new indie movie that bad? If you're talking about the last one they made, I did something I almost never do, and I've done it twice from a Disney product in the last couple years. I shut it off halfway, never to revisit it again. Ant-Man 3, I tried watching it. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't pay money in the theater, so I waited till it came on streaming. And I was watching it with my roommate, and we were both sitting there going, this movie fucking sucks. And about a third of the way in, we just like, we're bored, so we shut it off. We're like, yeah, or we'll finish it later. And then just like, nope. Never going to finish watching fucking Ant-Man 3. And then same thing with Indiana Jones, the part 5, whatever, the Dial of Dysentery. I just, nope. I got so far into it, and then I'm like, I'm done. This thing sucks. Yeah, I'm not going to watch the last 30 minutes of Indiana Jones where they go back in time and he asks somebody, that girl, to leave him there so he could die. And then have the girl punch him unconscious and he wakes up in his apartment. Like they dragged his unconscious ass all the way back there. They just emasculated and fucked up Indiana Jones' character. I watched a bunch of conversations about it and I'm like, no, nuh-uh. And yeah, Indy's actually like basically been in the presence of God. You'd think that would affect him, and I think it has, but they just didn't seem to like talk about it. X-Men '97 had some fantastic parts. I think when it excelled really well. And there were some parts in '97 that I think gets a little overhyped. It wasn't all perfect, but is anything all perfect? No. But like that mid part, episode 5 with Gambit was like the defining uh, Gambit stuff in terms of like cartoons or movies or something like that, you know, outside of comics. Like, ooh, they got that really good. I thought Deadpool Wolverine was freaking amazing. Flower Girl 1009, that's a doodle to you? That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, this whole double page spread is just a layout for a double page cover for somebody. So I'm just trying to get all the basic figures on there. And ready, if you're asking me what's my favorite genre, it's probably science fiction, but it has to be done right. But action adventure, if that's a genre, I don't know. Well, thanks, Flower Girl. I appreciate it. I'm just a guy just drawn and um, just a guy just doing my own shit. Can you read that, man bun? Did you see that I actually wrote that? That's really funny. The character's name is Strider. It's a name that my brother and I came up with years ago, and we're just sticking with it. Even though most people are like, "That's the name of the guy from Lord of the Rings." You're ripping it off. Like, you know what? Well, we come up with it on our own. So kiss our ass. We're gonna keep it. But yeah, he's got a man bun. I could show the character, my brother. He drew him with the man bun, so I'm like, all right, I'm adding it in there. But I'm like, you got to send me better reference. I can't see what his torso looks like. He's got this giant shield, which I get. That's part of the character's design from day one, but well, furry snuff porn, I mean, that's close. Yeah, my brother's an artist too, my younger brother. He kind of grew up watching me draw, and he wanted to do it too. And so we're both kind of independent comic creators, for better or worse. And he's made his own books and stuff like that. And so he asked me to do a pinup of these characters for him. It is fun having like a sibling that likes to do the same creative stuff that you do. So you always have someone to kind of bounce ideas off of. And you kind of just bond over shit like that. Both of my parents are actually really good artists. They used to really lean into it. I grew up watching them play guitars, sing, paint, draw, And then life just crushed the soul out of them, and there wasn't time to do fun shit. And they just both kind of just fell off. But it's certainly in the genetics in my family. Yeah, sometimes people don't understand you if you're an artist. Is Strider's man bun like Superman's cape? You know the fight gets real when it gets messed up. Probably. Once his little man bun gets all goofed up, you know that he's going to be pissed off that you fucked up man bun. Man, Will's Potasio, he's awesome. I met him once at a comic convention. Real nice guy. I feel like his best work happens when someone else inks him. I don't like it when he inks himself, but yeah, Jaro, life does tend to do that to folks. It did with my parents because they're always perpetually poor. And my parents were always perpetually poor, and they were pumping out kids like the universe was going to end or something. I'm like, Mom and Dad, you don't have to fucking have so many kids. That being said, I'm glad we did, because I like growing up with my brothers and sisters, but they had 5. Flower Girl, how many sketchbooks do you have? I'm one of those guys that was never a sketchbook guy, and I think that's to my detriment. Every artist I know says you got to have a sketchbook and fill it up. Like, have a sketchbook with nothing but hands. That's how you learn how to draw hands. And then, this is something Ryan Otley told me personally. Mr. Invincible Battle Beast artist. He's like, I have a sketchbook filled with nothing but fingers and hands, and then another one with nothing but feet, and another one with nothing but, he just filled up sketchbooks with specific body parts to learn how to draw them. And that's why he's so damn good. Flower Girl, you have 50 sketchbooks. Well, you must be pretty good. No one has 50 sketchbooks and isn't at least kind of a good artist. Yeah, the more kids you have, the better odds you have of birthing an amazing comic artist. I've been saying that my little boys, I'm not sure if they're going to grow up to be artists. They both express interest in kind of like a youthful way of liking to draw, but I can't determine if it's like liking to draw the way their daddy does. I'm going to be mad if neither one of them ends up wanting to be like an artist. That's fine. My older brother, he doesn't have an artistic bone in his body, but he had the most artistic child on the face of the planet. She's an absolute genius. And I love everything that she does. I'm like, you should have been my kid. Liefeld has 50 sketchbooks. Flower Girl, I probably won't be live tomorrow because I'll have my kids, but I'm probably almost assuredly will on Thursday. And probably Friday. And maybe tomorrow. I'll just ignore my kids, hell with them. I'll buy McDonald's and put cartoons on. And I wasn't serious about artwork until I was later on in life. I was 13 or 14. I had been reading comics, and I suddenly decided that I think I might want to try and draw some of these characters. I was never the artist, but I just sat down and drew one day and I was like, oh my God, I think I can draw. I reproduced this image that I saw pretty well. Am I an artist? And then from there, I was just off to the races, never looked back. So, I don't know. One of my kids maybe would be nice. Their mom that won't like it because she hates that I'm an artist. Because she hates that I draw naked girls. And, no, there's a reason we're not married anymore. Well, thank you, Flower Girl. I appreciate that. Buy them some McDonald's and put on some cartoons. That's some old school parenting. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna let the TV raise you boys. Here's your fries and your nuggets, kids. Now, my parents would leave me and my brothers and sisters alone at the house for hours. Surprised we didn't burn the house down. I picked up my dad's shotgun in his bedroom one time and then told my two buddies who were hanging out with me to come down into the room, and then I racked it and pulled the trigger, and oh, it was loaded. So I blew a hole through the wall, almost killed my friends. So they all took off. So they didn't want to be there when my dad came home and tried to kill me. Wiley, how old were I when I published my first book? If you're talking, the only thing I've ever done, I mean, if you call it publishing, you know, meaning I made a book and then I just printed up copies on my own. Just in the last 5 years with my first volume of my Masters of the Universe fan comic, that was it. But I don't call that publishing as much as it is I just made copies and give them to people who are interested. Proper childhood stories. Steven, you like my review of the Cat, Dog, and Rabbit Cyborg comic? We Three, that book? That is some of the best storytelling art ever. So good. It had you in tears? I don't remember what I said in it. Like, hopefully it was funny. So yeah, so we got Fast Tracks, Strider, or Man Bun, Warbird, Fuse, Infrared, and Jammer. Wiley, I sell at cons. I mean, I go to the local one and sell there. I move a few books there. I move more books through my YouTube channel uh, than at conventions, because who the fuck wants that? Tex draws the hottest girls? Really? Oh, okay, that's fair. I'm trying to remember. When I think of Tex, I think of like a monstrous Wolverine or a Ghost Rider. And then I had to stop and think about. But yeah, he can draw. Especially when he paints, like his full acrylic painting. He did that Panther series. Steven, I don't even know the powers of these characters. Like I said, they're my brother's characters, and I can't remember what any of them did in terms of power sets or anything like that. I think Fast Tracks is probably the quick guy. Strider here, he's the big, like, modern day knight in shining armor with the shield. Fuse here, she used to be a guy when my brother was a kid when he first created him, but he gender swapped it to add some diversity to the comic. Had like energy powers that could channel through a gun. Warbird here is just a guy with wings so he can fly. Infrared here could like energy projection or something. And then Jammer, this was a guy in the original iteration, but I think it's just someone who's strong, just a strong guy. Yeah, I'm trying to give the girl some serious biceps. I got to get my muscle-bound friend, this girl I know, to do some art referencing for me with the giant muscles. So kind of faking it, but god damn it. Fake it till you make it. No, it's not a trans thing. It's just changing it because he had a team of 6 heroes and not one of them was a girl. So he's like, well, I gotta have some females on the team. So he's like, all right, this guy and this guy can now be. Sketchbooks are idea soil turning. Yeah. Yeah, what's a 90s style comic without some hot women? Seriously, I mean, who wants to see it without... I don't want to do a comic that's just a sausage fest. Stephen, Psylocke was half the reason I bought the Jim Lee books. Yeah, that did not hurt. I have never tried fisheye perspective. I can barely do standard perspective. I'm not going to, like, push beyond my boundaries. Yeah, and Rogue was the other half. Solid answer, solid response. Psylocke, hot girl with the, like, straight, dark hair, ninja, silent, deadly. Rogue, big, wild, full of life, big curly hair. She can never touch you, but she always ends up naked for some reason. Shit. Wiley, yeah, drawing cars for the stories is terrible. So yeah, go get some Hot Wheels or something like that for reference. It helps. I'm aware of Pete Holmes. I think I've seen the X-Men series. He's the one who did that Badman series, right? Not Batman, but Badman for college humor. That's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Damn ads on YouTube, I hate them. Well, I think I might be done with this one for now. I gotta get some details for this character before I can take it too much farther anyway, and kind of ran out of steam. I fired my artistic load for the evening. I'm done. I need sleep. They don't sell blank sketchbooks where you live, dude? That sucks, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I got a good jump on it. It wouldn't take much more with the blue pencil before I start light boxing it and getting the final pencils done. Report to Berg Tertiary Unit 77. I want to go where 7 of 9 is. Seven of 9 is 7 of 9 is a 10. Yeah, 6 of 9. You're like, all right, whatever it takes. I'll do as you demand. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up for now. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, so that's enough for now. Yeah. But thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I will catch everyone later.